Okay, for this tutorial you need to first of all have downloaded XNA Game 01 project from Moodle. This provides you with the files that you can see on the screen at the moment, and it allows you to simplify the process of including text in your games. What's been provided for you is a screen text class which is held in a file called screentext.cs. What it allows is for the simplification of getting the text on the screen in the first place, freeing up any clutter out of your main program, because one of the things you don't want to do is write every single bit of code you've got into your game class. For one thing, it becomes an absolute nightmare to navigate, and secondly, it's not very transportable. You can't take stuff from one game to another without having to recode it all. So it's very simple to use in its basic form, i.e. you want to just get some text on the screen. You start off by creating a variable to hold your screen text object. So in this case I'm going to call it HUD. Okay. And basically that now needs to be populated with an instance of that class. So the way that we do that is we go to our constructor, game1 in this case, and we put HUD equals new, because we're creating a new instance of screen text. Okay, and the first thing we pass this constructor is we need to pass it a reference to this game, and secondly the asset name of the font we want to use for our screen text. So in this case it's GameFont. Okay, if you're not sure where that's come from, if you go to your Solution Explorer and look at the number of different things you've got in there, GameFont's one of them. When you click on it, you will find that it's got an asset name of GameFont, and that's what we're providing in that string there. Okay? Right, that creates an instance of it. It doesn't do anything until we provide it with some text. Now at this point I'm going to introduce you to a new concept in XNA, and that is that there is a facility in XNA called Game Components. Now what these do is they provide you with the same idea as you've got in your main XNA game, a load content, an update and a draw and an initialize. Right, and you can add them into the game content collection and they will automatically be called. So for mine in this case is screen text, which creates a game component that allows us to do that. So before we actually do that, because we've got an initialize method, we need to reset everything that's in there. So we start by doing components. .clear. So that removes any existing game components from the system. That's quite important because that means that if we actually recall that initialize method, it will actually empty everything out before we start. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our heads-up display to the game components. So to do that, you just do components. It's somewhat like a list box that you might have used before. Okay, and then the thing that we're going to add. Okay, and in this case, as you already know, our screen text is called HUD, so we're adding the HUD object. Okay, and at that point, what we've actually done is we've set up all of the things we need to do to load the text, to display the text, and also it allows us to do certain utility commands like change the text and change its position and change its colour. So that takes all of the bits out of the draw method, that's all gone, or any bits that might have been in the update method, and any bits that are in load content. So that's very, very simple. Now at this point, or any other point in our game, we can now add things to our HUD. So what you'll find is there are a set of methods relating to HUD. If you type in HUD.addText, okay. What we do is we first of all we give the text an ID as a string. So let's say title. So this one's going to be referred to as title. And then the text we actually want to display on the screen is a string. And then, as before, we've been using Sprite font before, you know that you can use a vector too, which is an XY coordinate. So we'll stick with 20, 20, which we've been using an awful lot now. And then finally, we can specify what colour we want that to be in. So boring white again. Okay, so that will now put that on the screen. And we can continue and add more. Okay, at that point, that's done all the things we need to do to display stuff on the screen. Alright, so by doing this, we've effectively created a full running program, and instead of having to do all these Sprite fonts, draws, etc., that's all been taken care of in the screen text class. If I click play, you'll see that now we've got my text demonstration and Stephen Smith in our software, and it's all running absolutely fine. Now, not that we want to do any more with it at the moment, but there are another set of methods within the program that allow us to make changes. We can do this dynamically, so we can do it as our game changes. We can make things visible, hide them, etc. If you type HUD in this case, because that's what we call the object, you will see there are a series of things you can do. One is you could delete the text. Yeah, another is you can alter the text. Okay. And when you do alter text, depending on what you pass it, it will allow you to do different things. So the moment you do alter text, the first thing you do is you specify the ID. So, for example, author. Okay, and then we can say what we want to modify. So we can modify any of these parameters along here, its position, its colour, or the name. So if I want to change, for example, the colour, so instead of it displaying in red, I wanted it to display in a different colour, and I just put colour dot, and then we'll say blue. Okay, so at that point what it's going to do is it's going to alter that text and change it to blue. Now obviously, because it's one line after another, it will never appear in red, but it's to show you the principle of how you alter things. So if we press play again, okay, and now my text is blue. So we can use that command anywhere inside my program, and we can make changes dynamically as we go. Just to give you an example of each one, we want to change it position, we do exactly the same thing. We want to change the position of author, okay, and we just put new vector 2, and then effectively what position we want to put it on the screen. So at the moment it's on 20, 50. If we go for 20, 100. Okay, press play, and there it's moved it down to the middle of the screen.